Thinking about moving to Korea? Are you already living in South Korea? Today, I'm gonna share the top 5 mistakes foreigners make while living in Korea. These mistakes can easily derail your experience while living in Korea. These tips can be the difference between loving your time here or counting down the days to leave. Hello, my name is Ade. This is S Korea 360, where we talk about everything Korea. I've been living in Korea for over a decade, and today I'm gonna share the top 5 mistakes expats make while living in Korea. Let's get started. Number 1 will be quite obvious: not learning Korean. I can tell you personally from experience, when you start to learn the language, a world of opportunity kind of just opens up in Korea. I think people don't quite understand when you're learning the language, you're also learning the culture. And when you go to a new country, the best thing that country or that place has to offer is the culture. And there's no better way to get better acquainted with the culture than learning the language. Now, learning Korean is absolutely not easy. It is a hard task, but I can tell you that it does pay off if you continue with it. Being in Korea for a very long time, I ask a lot of foreigners who've been here longer than me, what is one regret that you have? And they always say, man, I always wish I learned more Korean. To give you some personal experience, I never started getting the real Korean experience until I started learning Korean. And then one day on the beach, I bumped into some older Korean guys. Only one of them knew English, but there was like 12 of them and the rest of them didn't know any Korean at all. But because of my broken Korean skill, my Korean skills are not good at all, but it was enough to get me by. And I also understood the culture. It was easy for me to get accepted in their group. And because of that, they showed me things that no foreigner who's been here 20, 30 years could have showed me. Because of that, I experienced some real Korean experiences. They've taken me to Seoul, countless amount of trips, late nights, daytime, soccer on the beach. Amazing experiences, just because I met some guys and I was able to communicate with them in my broken Korean. So, how to avoid this mistake? Don't think that because you're learning Korean, you are wasting your time. When you are learning something, it's never a waste of time. Even if you're gonna be here short-term or long-term, learning the language will pay off, because in that journey, you're also going to encounter many things that could benefit you in the long run. Also, tips, there are plenty of meetup groups, online resources for you to learn Korean, so no excuses. Also, tip for the English teachers: break that English bubble. You are not in New York, you are in Korea. Try to meet people who may not speak English as well, which will also help you enhance your Korean skills. Point number 2, having a short-term mentality. Oh, I'm only gonna stay in Korea for a year. Oh, I'm only gonna be here for 6 months more. Oh, I'm leaving next year, March. I hear these things all the time from foreigners who have been here 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And because of that, they have missed out on countless opportunities. When you stay in a place and have a short-term mentality, you lose all the opportunities of long-term planning. Well, I'm in Korea. What kind of long-term advantages could I get? Plenty. Having a short-term mentality, Having a short-term mentality limits your career opportunities. It limits the people you meet, so social opportunities are taken away, and it also limits your Korean skills as well. So, personal story time. Because I always knew I wanted to stay in Korea longer. I never thought I'd be here this long. But because I kept a long-term mentality, I was able to better my career, get a better job. And because of that, I was able to have more free time to do more side projects and live a better quality of life. I was also able to take programs and government programs to get points towards my F visa, to change over my visa, to have more freedom while living in Korea. But a lot of people who have been here 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, have that contract to contract year, 1 year to 1 year mentality, thinking that they might leave. So they never think long-term to benefit from the opportunities of a long-term mentality. I've also done my master's in Korea, and the amount of networking and social connections I have made in Korea, because I've always kept that long-term mentality, has paid off tremendously. It's all about increasing your standard of living. It's all about increasing your quality of life while in Korea to have that best experience. And I'm telling you, having a long-term mentality will definitely help you with that. So how can I avoid this? I'm only planning to go to Korea only for 1 year or only for 2 years. Yes, but life is crazy and you never know what could happen. You can see yourself staying longer. Even though you might leave after a year or two, there's not many negatives into putting in a long-term mentality in your everyday activities. Go for that Korean class, go on a trip and meet new people and try to make social connection that will last a lifetime. These things are never negative. Number 3, mistakes that foreigners make while living in Korea. Picking the wrong city. Now, this one is very individual and subjective. However, if you're planning to come to Korea, make sure you do your research. I did extensive research and I'm happy that I did. Now I'm in the city of Busan, which I think is the best city in Korea, but that's another conversation for another day. I'm so happy that I did my research before coming because I knew I did not want to stay in a smaller city. I wanted a bigger city. I actually wanted to go to Seoul, but the way things worked out was either Seoul or Busan. Happened to come to Busan. I'm very happy for it. But I know I did not want a small city. A lot of people kind of lie to themselves. They say, you know, I want a big city, but I'm okay if I live outside of a big city 1 hour or 30 minutes. And my advice is, if you can, live inside a big city. Don't live an hour or 2 outside, because while you're in your smaller city, all you're gonna wanna do is come to the big city. So might as well take the time, research, wait for the opportunity to come to a bigger city if that's what you want, so you can live that better quality of life for yourself. However, if you want a smaller city, there is plenty of opportunities to move to a smaller city. I met many people who love living in the countryside, peace, quiet, they know everybody. So whatever floats your boat, just make sure you do it and don't lie to yourself. Whatever you want, whatever lifestyle you want, go for it. Don't try to go around it, go directly to it. Number 4, this is a controversial one, maybe a hot topic. Coming to Korea with a foreigner victim mindset. I cannot tell you the amount of times I see this in Korea where people feel like they are not being treated fairly, or they feel like Korea is against them because they are a foreigner. Living in 10 years, I have some experience about this. Being a foreigner in Korea is a unique experience. Nobody wakes up thinking about me in the morning and how they're gonna make my day worse. Nobody cares about me, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So nobody's against you. Nobody's trying to make your life more difficult. Good things happen, bad things happen, take both of them and move on. I see this a lot with this foreigner victim mentality, but the people like this also neglect or don't acknowledge the plethora of benefits you get of being a foreigner in Korea. And it happens all the time. If you're lost and you need some help, I've heard people of police picking them up and driving them to the destination. I've heard Koreans going over and beyond to help people. When I'm with my Korean friends and we go out, I sometimes get extra service or better service, or the owner wants to talk to me. And my friends say, hey, it's because you're a foreigner. Now, I always do treat this with respect and try to reciprocate, but because I am a foreigner, I do get treated differently. And most of the time, it's actually better, not worse. So when I do get treated maybe at a disadvantage because I'm a foreigner, I just remember I do get a lot of benefits of being a foreigner, so I take the good with the bad. Don't come with this mentality that everybody's against you, because if you are looking for it, chances are you're gonna find it. By the way, if you're a foreigner watching this, you probably don't wanna be a Korean living in Korea, because they live by totally different rules that we would have a hard time living by. So how to avoid this? When something really pisses you off and something is really unfair, happened to me plenty of times, take a deep breath and move on. Chances are by tomorrow, you won't even remember it. No need to hop on. If it helps, hop on the social groups and Facebook and whatnot, you can vent it out. But however, I'm telling you, just move on, and that's the best way. Number 5, ignoring cultural norms. Korea is a different very, very different country than your country back home. I'm sure of it. The culture and everything else and the people is extremely different. But one thing you have to remember, while you are living in Korea, you are a visitor. Never forget that. You're a visitor. Even though I've been here for 10 years, I am a visitor. Yes, this is my home, but at the end of the day, unless you have that passport, you are a visitor. A lot of people come with the mentality and the mindset that they need things to work around them. And I've seen this countless times, and these people do not last long and have the most difficult time living in Korea. And I'm telling you, it's all about a mindset thing. It's all about your mentality and how you see things. Here's a wonderful tip to handling Korean culture. Before you judge, because you're gonna see crazy things, before you judge the culture, try to understand why it's that way. No matter what country you're from, I'm pretty sure your country has some wacky, quirky culture, right? And there's probably a reason for it. Same in Korea. They have wacky, quirky culture. Every culture does, but there is a reason for it. And when you try to understand the culture, it's much more easier to accept and not try to fight it. And Koreans will love you much more and appreciate you much more if you take the time to understand their culture. I have this theory in Korea: if you give a little bit, you get a lot back. So you learn a little bit of Korean, a lot doors open. You understand the culture and try to understand the culture a little bit, a lot of more things, positive things happen to you. So give a little, but you have to give a little, and chances are you probably get a lot back. So there you have it. Those are the top 5 mistakes foreigners make in Korea. I could probably make a part 2, and I probably will. But if you appreciated this video and you got some value out of it, please give me a like or a thumbs up and a share. And let me know in the comments, did I make any mistakes? Am I right? Am I wrong? Did I forget anything? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching.